All right, determining rising sign now. So we're going to go over a lot of different examples because I can foresee this part being confusing. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is bring back the landscape. All right, so yay. Now we see where the landscape is. I'm actually just going to refresh my page and set this all up again. So view settings, ecliptic line to get that red line. If I click on constellation, constellation art, I'm getting rid of the atmosphere. I'm clicking on equatorial grid. All right, so this is the view I'd be looking for right now. All right, so currently right now in Las Vegas, which is where I am on December 31st. This actually isn't the right time though. Right now it is 1:31 p.m. So see, 12, 1, 31. Okay, so this is literally today. Let me see. All right, so rising sign, regardless of where you are on the planet, is in this system, okay? Other pit systems are different, whatever, we're erasing that from our minds. Wherever you are on the planet, wherever east is for you will be east in stellarium, and it will show you your rising sign, okay, your ascendant. All right, so clearly, this ascendant is in Pisces, right? Yeah. So we go over to the east, we see which constellation of the zodiac specifically is on the ascendant, and that is how we determine someone's rising sign. So if somebody was born today in Las Vegas at this exact time, they would be a Pisces rising. Awesome. So what degree Pisces would they be though? That is the confusing part. So intuitively, one would probably say, "Oh, we would just go straight up." Okay, that might be the case. And I hear you on that. I really, really do. So, let's see, straight up from here. But what we're going to do actually, and this will be a little bit counterintuitive, but this is the energy we're dealing with. And let's see, clear, exit out of that. So I'm going to get rid of the landscape because we are relating everything back to the sun's ecliptic path within these parameters, within these lines that have been set for us, we are actually going to do things a little bit differently. So we're going to find this easternmost point, okay, right here. We are going to follow it up. And I know that's going to be pretty painful for some of you to do, but oopsie, oh crap. Go away. All right. Oh my God. I'm clearly not a drawer on this thing very much. All right. So again, the farther you zoom out, it's going to be 15 degrees. As we get in closer, it is going to jump down to 5 degrees. So when I'm looking east, again, we can pull up that and that's fine, but we're relating everything back to the sun's ecliptic path within these lines. That's the kicker, within these lines. So I'm going to follow this east. I'm going to bring it up to the sun's ecliptic path. There isn't a star quite right there, but there is a star right before this, which is Mu Pisceum. So I'm going to come over here. I'm going to go to Pisces. I'm going to scroll down, find Mu Pisceum. That's at 38 degrees. Okay, so 38 degrees Pisces will be about right here. So we can determine that this rising sign will be at 39 degrees Pisces. Okay, so if somebody was born today, we would follow up right here, following these lines because the sky and the earth rotate differently. And so what is coming up in the sky is going to be opposite of what is happening on earth. So I think it's actually pretty interesting to just like sit and play with time here as well. So for example, an hour from now, oh, look, the ascendant would be in Aries. Cool. An hour from then, it would be in Taurus. So the ascendant changes I mean, all the time, but it's really interesting to watch as the day goes by what is on the ascendant. All right. And so it will be more confusing though. So there will be time. The reason we always bring it back to the sun's ecliptic path is because of situations like this, okay? Because you'll look at east and you'll be like, okay, well, Aquila isn't a zodiac constellation. So before you probably wanted to fucking fight me because it doesn't make sense to just like not go straight up when the sun's ecliptic path is right there. But this does matter in situations like this when the ascendant is actually still underground. Because if we look directly east, okay, this is almost like southeast over here is where Sagittarius is. So what we have to do is get rid of that landscape, find out where this line or where this lines up on the sun's ecliptic path and go from there. Because if you had just looked at this, you might have been like, oh, Sagittarius is rising. Actually, no, Capricorn is rising. So let's figure out which degree Capricorn. All right, so let's see here. Let me zoom in. So 15 degrees down to 5 degrees. So it's about on this line here. So if we follow this line down, do we see any stars on this line? Let's see. That one is probably not quite bright enough. I likely did not include that, but it is in alignment with this rotative in Delphinus. So I'm going to go to Capricorn and I'm going to find rotative, or however you say it, which is at 4 degrees in Capricorn, in line with 4 degrees, and that is how I'm going to determine this rising sign is at 4 degrees Capricorn, okay? Because this is in alignment with this is in alignment with this. Does that make sense? Hopefully. All right, so that is how you determine rising sign. Again, I would want to punch me in the face too had I not just followed that line up. But that's what I was doing for a while, and I'm like, no, there has to be a uniform way of doing this. But to be fair, if this is your birthday and your birth time, so this would actually be on New Year's Day, at 8:31 in the morning in Las Vegas. So if you were born then and you were like, no, I feel like a Sagittarius rising, I'm not gonna fight you. You know what I mean? So if you are dealing with a person that's like, no, I am not a Capricorn rising, none of my life experiences have been Capricorn rising, I know I'm a Sagittarius. Okay, that's fine. You just start them wherever Sagittarius degree makes sense for their rising sign to be very real with you. Because the rising sign, what it does is it shows you the start of the houses, which I'll show you in the next video here. So all it's not going to change your planetary placements. It's not going to change the degree of anything other planets. It's quite literally just going to change where things land within your houses. And that is what it is. So if somebody, again, is like, no, I know I'm a Sagittarius rising, okay, whatever, let them be a Sagittarius rising. Just put them in a late degree. Who cares? Them. You know what I mean? So like they care. So don't like it's hard sometimes because people have been existing on the tropical timeline for so long that when they are introduced to the organic timeline, it's almost like a sense of loss to be real because it shows us like what we were supposed to be all along. And so it can be very frustrating to know like for example, had I not like been a natal Leo in like tropical and sidereal astrology, I may have like missed out on that Leo energy had I not known that's what my natural energy was, right? Whereas luckily I didn't have to. So like somebody might really think that they have a Capricorn sun, like if their birthday, is on New Year's, but they have been existing with a Sagittarius or had been supposed to be fitting more in the archetype of the Sagittarius, lifestyle than the Capricorn. And so they may be feeling this massive like imbalance. For example, I thought I had a Capricorn stellium in my Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, whereas it's actually in Sagittarius, which is I was born in 1989, so likely if you were born around that time, you have the same stellium in Capricorn that is actually in Sagittarius. So a whole time we were out here trying to like like be really rigid in these systems and follow the rules and be deliberate and, set goals and all of this, where realistically we had all of these things in Sagittarius. So now here I am aligning with my Sagittarius in the 11th house energy, whereas before it was a Capricorn in the third house, right? So it's like, or my stellium. So now it's in the 11th house. So now I'm doing astrological, astronomic belief systems versus, which is Sagittarius energy versus Capricorn is like work really hard, make a lot of money. I burn myself out doing that. So that is how you make those switches and make those transitions. And that's why this is such an important way to look at things, in addition to what we already have been subscribing to. All right, but next up, let's go over houses and then we will get into all of the archetypes and mythology. It's very fascinating stuff. I know all of this can be like, oh my God, there's so much to learn, and there is, and let that excite you versus like overwhelm you. And literally just take it day by day, take it chunk by chunk, and please let me know if you have questions. Actually, if you do have questions, a really good place for the questions to be asked would be in the YouTube comments section, because all of these videos are uploaded to YouTube, but they are unlisted, so nobody can look at them unless you link them to it. I would really appreciate if you didn't link people to them. But like if you have a friend that like makes $0 and you're like, okay, I really want them to have this information, but I know there's no fucking way they will ever pay for this course, but I really want them to see this one thing about like Leo energy. Link them. I don't care. You know what I mean? Like I care, but like not extensively. I'm not gonna, yeah, this the more knowledge, the merrier. But again, this took me a long fucking time to make and a lot of energy. So you get it. I don't have to explain it to you. All right, next video. Go there.